Hi guys, so we're back with hormones now. It's the other part of our ability to sense and respond to our environment. Hormones are more about responding than actually sensing, and we'll have a look at those. Of course, one of the other things we need to remember about hormones is plants also use hormones, which we need to talk about as well. So we have a system called the endocrine system, and it consists of a whole lot of glands spread through the body. And so we can see the hypothalamus, pituitary, and the pineal gland here, right embedded in the brain. So there's a strong connection into the nervous system. There's some thyroid and parathyroid glands here at the neck. We've got the thymus above the heart, the adrenal glands above the kidneys. Don't know what I've got duodenum marked. The ovaries and testes, of course, depending on whether male or female. Spleen, pancreas. These are all parts of our endocrine system, which allows us to respond in certain ways to senses. So hormones are proteins. We actually make our own proteins, so we make our own hormones. And each of those hormones has an active site because it's a protein. It has a location on it that's formed by the making of the protein, which allows it to stick to a receptor site. It's just a chemical bond, basically. So a target cell, target organ will have a specific site to meet the specific site of the receptor. Now, interesting enough, some hormones are able to make different things in different people and different parts of your body, depending on the receptor site and how the receptor site connects into the cell. But that's for year 12 when you get there. We need to also have a look at how different nervous system and endocrine system are. The nerves react very quickly. Nerves are very, very fast, but their effect is very short-lived. And they use messengers that are electrical along the nerve and then chemical across the synapse, so neurotransmitters. Whereas the endocrine system, in response, is relatively slow because it's using the blood system to move from a gland secreting the hormone into the blood to the cells that are going to receive that and work with it. So in that case, generally the effect of a hormone is therefore much longer. And of course, hormones are chemical messengers sent through the blood. So you basically use nerves if you've got something really important to react to. Whereas if it can take time, it's not critical, it's not going to kill you in the next 5 minutes, then you can use hormones, and we use both. In some situations, we use nerves and hormones, which is the case with our blood glucose. Plants also have hormones. They don't have nerves, of course, but they do use hormones. And plants are a little bit different. They don't have specialized glands because it's hard to move chemicals through a plant. The xylem brings water up from the soil through the roots and up the stem, and the phloem tends to then, using diffusion, move things in all directions around a plant, but it's very slow. If you think about sap when you cut a plant, it's quite thick and viscous, so movement of material through phloem is quite slow. So every cell is generally able to make the hormones it needs to cause growth and all the other things that plants need to worry about. Plants respond to things called tropisms and other changes in their environment. So phototropism is growth, well, positive phototropism is growth towards light. Negative phototropism is growth away from light. Not that plants tend to do that. Positive geotropism is the way that the roots will grow toward the source of gravity, the center of the earth, whereas new shoots coming out from the seeds will grow away from the source of gravity, so they show negative geotropism. We also see things like thigmotropism. There's certain plants which respond to touch. You touch the leaves and they curl up. Some, of course, will grow up along other trees, and they're responding to the touch of those trees, or up along buildings and fences. They also use hormones to control things like direction of growth, the amount of flowering and when they flower, fruit ripening, when that fruit ripening occurs, when the fruit gets dropped, if they lose leaves, when they lose those leaves, if they need to get rid of a branch, when they drop that branch. And so plants are also able to sense their environment, sense their internal environment, and respond to it. So photoperiodism is really important. The length of light of day and the warmth in the soil will determine a lot of activity in plants. Plants have a number of hormones. They have things called auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, ethene, abscisic acid, and People have always talked about florigen, but they've never actually found it, and people wonder whether florigen actually exists. But auxins are known to be involved in the growth of plants in response to light and gravity, especially in shoots and roots. Cytokinins are involved in cells dividing. Gibberellins are involved in the rate of growth. Ethine is known to be controlling the flowering and fruiting of plants and fruit drop. Abscisic acid was called originally abscisic acid because it's found in the abscission zone quite often. And the abscission zone is this bit where fruit or branches or leaves drop off, the point they drop from. We now know it's not correct. And abscisic acid is not involved in that at all. It is involved in other growth responses. We're going to do an experiment, get you guys to design an experiment to test one of these theories about tropisms. And it's a nice, quick, short, sharp little discussion on the hormones. Back soon for a discussion on the brain.